Space excites me, and I think it should excite you. It has inspired humans for generations. It drives innovation, and albeit a nascent but rapidly expanding industry. The global space industry is worth already 500 billion, but on course to be valued in excess of $1 trillion by the end of the decade. And whilst perhaps some of the initial tech comes from military, and we perhaps think of space in a military context, 77% of that is accounted for by the commercial market. The UK space industry accounts for 17.5 billion. That's the contribution to the UK economy. It employs about 48,000 people, including obviously diverse and exciting roles like engineers, entrepreneurs, and scientists. 50 billion of private capital has been invested across the global space sector. Since 2015, that's grown at an average of 21% per year. And I'm reminded of the day that Rob came to see me in my office to talk about actually floating Seraphim into this listed vehicle. And I think I probably floated about 100 companies when I was at Merrill Lynch and worked on about 130 billion of M&A. And I spent 2 hours with the team, and they presented me their business and their deck. And I said to them, just so you know, that is the most exciting and most interesting and most impressive investment deck I have ever seen in my entire career. And I said, I want to be an investor in your fund, and I want to work with you. And that's why I'm here. So, coming to the UK for a minute, the UK has been a really key hotspot, happily, receiving 17% of that 50 billion I talked about from the world share. And that makes it the second most attractive investment destination in the world after the US. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because there are massive parallels, I think, between, say, financial services generally. You know, we're second to New York as a global financial centre. Take the shipping market in London, we're actually the second highest ranked shipping ecosystem centre. And what London does so brilliantly is create ecosystems, and I want to come back to that at the end because I think that's the opportunity here. I think space, whilst vital, is a little bit misunderstood. So people tend to think of it in terms of rockets and launching, and that perhaps is the exciting bit in one sense, but actually it's what's up there on the satellites that's the really exciting part. To me. And today you're going to hear, and of course as the cost of the satellite comes down dramatically, and it's now a small fraction of what it was 10 years ago, so the number of economic user cases for what you can put on a satellite and what you can do with a satellite goes up exponentially, and that I think is the big excitement. So today you're going to hear from some of the brightest minds in the industry that have imagined, created and built world-changing companies supporting the in-space economy and space for Earth. Many of these businesses already actually an essential part of our modern daily lives, delivering solutions in global security, in global communication, in climate monitoring and sustainability. Now, I mentioned that the sector is undergoing rapid and transformational change, and that is going to create a new generation of opportunities. And Rob mentioned it, but I think what that is doing is addressing some of the world's most pressing challenges, whether it's connectivity, it's the digital divide, whether it's global security, and we don't need to be reminded about the importance of all the things we're doing there, given what's going on at the moment, and then climate change. But we're only just at the beginning. I mean, the opportunity is arriving now, but it's huge, it's massive, it's really exciting. And with the UK's rich history, as I said, of creating ecosystems around sectors like this, I think with our amazing financial services industry in the UK, and I include in that insurance, because I'll come back to that in a minute, I think we can make the UK the leading global destination for space investment and the space ecosystem. We are going to need some government support to do that. So just a few things to give you an idea of things we're working on and excitement to come. The Science Minister, Minister Freeman, next week will be launching an initiative at the London Stock Exchange. We have been working with a leading advisory firm to put together thoughts on how we might create this ecosystem, and we'll be presenting our more detailed thoughts with Minister Freeman at that event. I think it's next week. When I talk about ecosystem, what am I talking about here? Well, if you think about the financial services industry in London, it's not just that we have 600 banks, but we have the best lawyers, the best accountants, the best tax advisors, the best consultants, an asset management industry with $4 trillion as assets under management, the best insurance exchange in the world, and it's putting all that together that makes London so incredible, both in financial services and in shipping. And I think we can do the same. I think we can do the same for space. We've got many of the parts already. We've got amazing tech companies here. We've got amazing tech expertise at our universities. I mean, who'd have thought, actually, that we have in the UK the best space faculty in the world? I didn't even know Leicester had a university, let alone that it has the best space faculty in the world. Has two universities, in fact. There's Harwell. We've got a massive insurance industry, which I think is just getting interested in space, and there are huge opportunities. I'll come back to that in a minute. So we're going to be working with the government to try and beef up what they've already got in mind around our space agency and this sort of ecosystem of participants to really make London the leading centre in the world. And I think that's a massive and exciting opportunity. The second thing we're going to be doing is working with the Lord Mayor, who actually, I don't know whether you've met the new Lord Mayor or the one who's starting shortly. He is a rocket scientist of old, some would say in more ways than one. But he's very interested in the whole issue of sustainability in space, as is the King. So the King, as you probably know, has created this thing called the Astro Charter. So typically far-sighted, he's already thinking about, well, we've screwed up the Earth, we best not screw up space. So how do we avoid that? Answer, we think quickly about how we take stuff out of space as well as put it into space, and he's created this concept of the Astro Charter, which we're involved with. Then there's the Lord Mayor's particular interest is actually debris bonds, I think they're called. So there's a subset of this market. So I just want to give you an idea that this is not, we have here the only listed company in the world that only invests in space tech. That's pretty amazing to start with. We have, most importantly in these guys, the biggest and best space tech incubator and accelerator in the world, bar none, by miles, in my view. And working together, I think we can transform London into the leading space ecosystem in the world. That's all I wanted to say. Hope you enjoy the afternoon. Hope you're as excited about it as I am by the time we get to 6 o'clock. Thank you for listening.